Oh no. Oh, welcome. I thought that I would, get off my butt and do something different. And I thought that I would get back onto this KVF400. You've seen in my other video where the engine piston was damaged. And I wasn't really going to do anything with it. So I thought, what the heck? Why don't I just feel like doing whatever I want to do with it? So I decided that I would turn this ATV into, I guess, some kind of CrossKart or something, some mutant type of machine where I would just have a little bit of fun. So why don't I at least start by showing you what's been done to it already from the previous video, just for you to catch up, and then I'll start working on it. So what I did is I actually took some of the parts off from before to basically give me access to the engine. And like I mentioned, I found out that there was something wrong with the valves. They had fallen and had struck the piston a little bit. So I decided that I was not going to use this engine. And then I was left with this beautiful chunk of metal and machinery and stuff, and didn't know what I was going to do with it. I fiddled around with it a little bit and got some of the stuff off in the front. Still have some stuff left over to take out, and I'll go through that at some point. And I spent a lot of time staring at it like a guy lost in the woods trying to figure out his way. And I decided that I was actually just going to chop it up. There's really nothing more that I'm going to do. It is a four-wheel drive, so what I'm going to try and do is try and keep that whole system intact, and then try and somehow fit an engine back here, fit myself in here, and then try to build a cage. Now the cage really is just going to be some cheap square tubing. It's not going to be this full-on CrossKart. It is just to build something to have a little bit of fun and maybe go fast. I don't know. But either way, let me start by actually just working on the back here. Let me remove the plastic and all this stuff that's around here and get an idea of what the frame kind of looks like, and see what I'm going to do to try and cut into it and tear it apart. Holy cow. Here's the aftermath. I did not think that taking this little back section here would be so much work, but I guess I should really get used to it. I think I've said this before. Rusted bolts just don't come out. Obviously took the front valance out and finally got the plastic off, that metal bar that goes across, and then the rack. I unfortunately just had to cut it all there. There was no way I was going to get in there to be able to take some of the bolts off. Basically, it's just this little plastic shield with this kind of metal thing that holds it in place or keeps the shape. I just ended up cutting it there and cutting it down here and then pop that off. Oh, little surprise, just found a spare key, I think. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Maybe I can reuse it for starting the new project. I also went ahead and just kind of cleaned up this area, removed some of the wires and whatnot, removed some of the brackets and stuff down here. They're all right here. And that's a little container that I might be able to reuse at some point, so that's kind of cool. Again, just removed some wires, pushed them all through, and brought them kind of forward a little bit. I think that the next step I'm going to do, well, I'm going to clean up a little bit so I don't trip on stuff. And I think I'm just going to kind of work in this area here and try and pull some of this stuff apart, get all the wiring out of the way, and all that cool junk. Well, that sucks. Unfortunately, I lost, I don't know how much footage, but a good chunk while I was working on this side. But I'll give you just a basic run through just in case it missed something. It's really not much. Basically took the air box, all the vents that related to what was going on here, where it takes in air and then passes it and does whatever it does with it. I don't know why there's so many air tubes, but whatever, they designed it that way. The head cylinder, that type of stuff was already pretty much undone from one of the last videos where I tore it down to try and figure out what was going on in there. So I just slid those off just to make it easier when I pull the engine out. While I was at it, I just undid all the motor mounts and took all that stuff out to be able to slide it out, both the front and the back. While I was messing around with that, I had already taken the bolts out for the, I guess you can say, it's not really a differential, but it's part of the transmission where it, you know, splits the drivetrain from the front to the back, or whatever you want to look at it. I don't know what the right name is for it. Transfer case? I think that's it. Anyway, while I was doing that, it kind of broke free even more here. So that should be easy to pull out, fingers crossed. Did make a bit of a mess, but that's me after I just, you know, cleaned it up. What else? Basically any of the wiring, I moved that as far forward as I could. I can't think of anything else, but anyway, just little bits and bobs that I removed to try and get out of the way to make things easier. Oh yeah, the footboard here has been removed, and I think overall that's pretty much it. There's really not much to it. There's just a lot of fiddly little parts. So I'm going to set up the camera and then just try and slide that out the other side. All right, here goes. Hopefully my muscles don't fail me. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right, there we go. I don't know what that is. That really wasn't too bad, just heavy. That was about it. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on all the front stuff and get that undone. I just got to reposition stuff to push this back to get access to that. I think that's pretty much it. I do have to remove this guy right here. It's just a plate that runs across. I think he had a snowplow or something on the front of it, and it attached to that, but I don't need that. And then this little plate I can't take off because it's so pushed up that all the bolts and stuff are kind of buried under the whatever that is, thick aluminum. I will cut that off. The steering is loose, but I'm not actually just going to pull that through. What I'm going to do is just cut this triangle off and then just remove the whole assembly there. I don't need any of it. Well, maybe the little arms here at some point, but we'll see about that. But taking a look at this, you can kind of see how you can put a little bit of a CrossKart in here. The back is a lot simpler. I think what I'm going to do is probably cut down here. I'm going to keep the pillar here for the suspension, just to keep that intact. It will eventually have to move, but for now I'm just going to keep it there so that way the whole thing doesn't just collapse. Yeah, I might either keep this length here or chop it. Actually, yeah, I'll probably just keep the whole length just to try and keep it all as much as, you know, one piece as possible. And then in the front here, like I said, I'm just going to cut this little triangle out, probably cut it here, and then just cut the front off there. Maybe just do a little bit of cleanup underneath here. There's like this little plastic piece here, and I'll probably just buzz the rivets off to try and just pull that off. And then that'll give you and myself a better idea of what to kind of expect in terms of a CrossKart that I might build. But this is just trying to find a foundation, right? Just trying to see what my options are and what the platform is going to look like. So why don't I just go ahead and actually just cut into all of this and see where we get. Wow, this is really starting to look like something. I think it's looking good right now. So here's the front end. Pretty much everything is trimmed off, everything except for what I needed for the front differential. But as you can tell, all the members, the cross members, they all been cut out. Everything here, everything up top here has been cut out, gone, bye-bye. There's that. And that's basically going to be the interior of the cab, the general shape or look. And here's the rear end, and there's pretty much nothing there anymore. I don't know if I'm going to keep the hitch ball there. I'm most likely going to move it. And then, like I said before, the suspension is going to have to change position. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Actually, maybe I can use that to put the suspension on and then put that kind of up here somewhere on the other side of the engine. But I'll wait till I get the engine, give myself a better idea of what I'm working with. The other thing that I have to worry about is how am I going to use this? Basically, I have to figure out how I'm going to hook something up there to prevent the oils from leaking. I'm not sure. Maybe I could use grease. Would that be okay? I'm not sure. I'd have to figure that one out. It would probably require periodical greasing, but anyway, that's another thought. There's the original pinion gear, or whatever you want to call that, ring gear. That's it. So I'm going to figure out somewhere to maybe take that shaft out and keep that gear and use that. Maybe I can, you know, somehow cut this piece out and then bolt that to it. I'll have to look into that at some point. Undecided, and it's not for this video. Now, I am going to keep these shin knee thigh killers. What I'm going to do is just maybe extend them a little bit and keep this as like a little pocket to maybe store stuff. So this will be the main body, and then just kind of have this for storage. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to design that, but that's an idea. And obviously the seat is going to be a little bit higher than this, and the feet are going to go somewhere in here. It's going to be a little bit weird because you're going to have your controls and your feet probably over the front of the wheels, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's probably going to be the way it is. For now, I think everything is just going to stay there. The biggest thing is really just trying to get the engine and figuring this out, and then figuring out how I'm going to connect it to that. Then once I do that, then I can figure out how I'm going to do the steering, the pedals, whatever. also, you know, how I'm going to position the seat, and then build the frame around all of this here. For sure, this is going to change because I want more room up top. Yeah, you know what? You know, I'm not sure. We'll see. It is nice and structural, especially for down here. I like that. But we'll find out. Only time will tell. It's a lot of ifs in the air right now, but what I have and what I like right now is having the general frame and the general look of what it's going to be. All right, well, my head's definitely going to be cut off, but I just kind of wanted to give you a little look as to how this is going to be. If I'm fully extended with my legs, my feet are definitely kind of over the wheels, or in front of the wheels, I should say. And I have to say the back part, this piece that goes up here, for the suspension, that's definitely going to have to be pushed back. It's making me want to lean forward, and I feel like if I push myself more forward, then I'm just having my feet dangle even more off the front. I'm not sure if that's going to be okay, but you know, I don't know. Maybe. It's difficult to adjust here. You know, if it's just a couple more inches, it should be okay. I think I'd have to get a seat to find out and then get a really much better idea. But this is the general idea. I definitely want to do something with this. This is really tight. I don't have much room for anything that would be good for steering. So there's going to be some sort of engineering in there. And trying to figure out what that's going to be like, but it kind of gives you an idea of what that's going to look like. I'm 5'11", and you know, it's okay. Not super comfortable, but hey. Well, overall, I'm pretty happy with the progress I made. It gives me a really good idea of what kind of foundation I'm going to work with, and it's giving me some thoughts on how I can position things and put things in place, and then trying to move on from there. Obviously, this is going to be a step-by-step process. It's not going to be a one and done. I think that the next thing that I should be doing is getting the engine and trying to see how that's going to fit in here. And then that'll give me an idea for that. And then maybe get a couple of pieces like the steering and the seat. And then that'll give me an idea of where to build the cage. And then I'll go from there. Depends on money, time, and all that good stuff. Y'all know what that's about. Well, with that being said, thank you for watching. Take it easy and get lost.